Great radio stations across the land, joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, all right there, plus the live video feed. It's the Joe Pags Show. Glad to have you here. Really glad to have this young lady on from campusreform.org. It's Alyssa Rinelli. Alyssa, how are you?
I'm doing great, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
We, of course, before we started, had to talk about our Italianness and what parts of Italy our ancestors are from, and that was a very cool conversation. I'm glad to have you on. Mm-hmm. As you now know, my last name is Pagliarulo, or Pagliarulo, if we're going to announce it in the Italian fashion. I don't think we'll do the Italian language during this, though, but maybe next interview.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to schedule it in.
I think that'll bring in the fans. All right. Campusreform.org. Young reporters doing incredible work every day. Go there like I do every day. Check out the stories that they're covering. And you've got quite a few. But let's get into where you are, where you're from, what you're doing. I know that you're in Wisconsin now and that you used to work with Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, that I like a lot, that's done a lot of really good things. And you were mentioning that it made sense to you that we've got people with business acumen actually in government now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at all the bureaucratic red tape that has been cut down under President Trump, where they understand that you need to make it easier for companies to hire jobs in order to bolster up the economy and allow families to go to work.
And Ron says that a lot when I have him on. He's a businessman that happens to be working in government now, but he just wants common sense to get done. I think a lot of times we find that politicians don't really care about common sense. They care about getting reelected, whereas business people need common sense, whereas they go out of business.
Absolutely. And we're happy that we have those people here in the U.S. that, like Senator Ron Johnson and like Donald Trump, where they understand that.
You go to the University of Minnesota, and this is
Yes,
in the
sir.
Twin Cities. I'm one of my biggest stations is Talk Radio 1130, Twin Cities News Talk 1130. And I get calls from Minnesota every single day about how frustrated people who live in that area are about the very far left-wing liberal politics happening in the Twin Cities, especially Minneapolis. So you're going to school there. Do people know you're a conservative, or does that never come up? Because it's a very liberal school.
Yeah, it's an incredibly liberal school. I would say I'm a business student, and a lot of my business friends don't know just because I don't bring it up in conversation. And then on all the political organizations that I'm involved with on campus, they obviously know I'm conservative. But it's one of those things where it's kind of hush-hush because unfortunately, and as we're seeing very strongly with the cancel culture right now, students are out to get you. One student a couple of years ago when I was a freshman, she was a senior, Antifa got a hold of her information and posted it publicly all across the U.S., gotten it from a University of Minnesota student, and Antifa was bothering her parents and is going to vandalize her parents' home. So it's a scary thing up in the Twin Cities, and I wish that the University of Minnesota would foster an environment that was open to different ideas.
And it's really not that environment. I get people who are professors there, and it's only a few who say, listen, I'm conservative. Don't tell anybody that I'm calling you, but this is what's happening on campus. So I know what the climate is there. And that whole doxing thing is so disturbing. Why it's important to let somebody know somebody's phone number, their email address, their actual home address, where they work. What does that achieve other than trying to just shut somebody down who might have a varying opinion? That's it, right?
That's the only thing that it achieves. And honestly, it's pure evil to go out and look to destroy someone's life.
It's Alyssa Rinelli. She is ALYSSA_RINELLA. No, See, I screwed it up. I'm not looking at it. Right, there's an I at the end. Again, ALYSSA_RINELLI. Go there and follow her on Twitter. I would, but I can't because I'm not allowed to tweet right now. Let's get into these issues. A grad employee, they're protesting at Penn State because they don't want to go back to school. Now, when I was your age, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to see people. I wanted to meet people and learn in an environment that was promoting learning. These people don't want to go back, and in fact, they did something really stupid to prove how much they don't want to go back. What did they do?
They hosted a die-in at Penn State.
Come on.
Basically, a bunch of grad students had gotten into this field and laid down and pretended to die in order to protest Penn State offering some in-person classes this upcoming fall. And they said a couple of things in this chant that I kind of want to break down. So one of the first things that all these protesters had said was one death is too many, citing that, they worry that one student death from COVID is just too much. Yet it seems to only be the case when they want it to fill their specific political agenda. I mean, we can even look at the BLM protests where since June 22nd, or as of June 22nd, 29 people have died.
Right.
Is one death too many in that situation? It seems to me like saying this is only when it fits your political agenda specifically, which is absolutely ridiculous and not at all an honest statement. The next thing that these students say is 2468, we don't want to go back to state, which is very clever. It rhymes. But, we live in the US where you have the right to choose whether or not you want to go back to campus or not.
Right.
No one is forcing these students to come back to class. No one is saying you have to go. And Penn State laid out that they would be offering, virtual classes for students who wanted that as well. So professors have to, record their classes online. So these students could do it from their homes if they wanted to. And I really think it's coming from a place of privilege that these students think that just because they're uncomfortable with going back to class, that everyone else, the tens of thousands of other students at Penn State, shouldn't be going back to class either.
This looks to me almost like a vegan. And I don't know if you're vegan or not. I'm not. I like to eat meat, and I'm going to continue that. And if you want to be vegan, God bless you. But the idea that because you're vegan, I have to be, doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you forcing what you would rather do on me? I like certain foods. I like certain sports. I like certain cars. You don't have to like what I like. And that's perfectly
Right.
fine. Why, Alyssa, is it that some in your generation, unfortunately, think that everybody's got to get in lockstep?
I I don't understand, and I wish I knew the answer. Maybe it would be easier to deconstruct what these students actually want. And like I said, this comes from a serious place of privilege that these students think that everyone else needs to follow what they believe. I mean, we're even starting to see some studies come out where the learning virtually is not the best way for everyone. It can be harmful for students. It can be harmful sitting for students at home all day.
Yeah.
It's lonely. A lot of these kids have been home since March. If they want the option to go back to school, they should have that option. And I don't think it's for the right of these graduate students to say whether or not students should go back to campus or not.
I think some of these students that are complaining are the ones that aren't getting dressed for the Zoom meetings and the ones that are laying like in their bed under their sheets. They want to stay there
Right.
all day. Look, you get off your rear end and go to school. And if you don't want to, as you said, there's a choice not to. It's Alyssa Rinelli. She is from campusreform.org. Columbia is hosting a Deconstructing Whiteness workshop for white identified students. This is easy for me. I just say, oh, I'm not identifying as white today, and I don't have to go. But what is this all about? I mean, is this for credit? What is this?
Right. No, this is a sign up as you want 5-week workshop that Columbia University is offering for to engage in the exploration of white identities and build community and accountability around deconstructing white privilege to facilitate the development of an anti-racist lens. First off,
What
that
on
was
earth?
such a mouthful. Second off, second off, I mean, this is the textbook definition of racism. The definition is any prejudice or discrimination directly related to a person on the basis of their race. This is basically saying that because of because of your whiteness, that you need to have this special course only for white students to deconstruct your privilege. I don't understand, first off, what that means, and I don't understand how this isn't deemed as racist.
So to your point, you're actually saying, or whoever's putting this on is saying, if you're white, I'm singling you out. I'm saying you're the problem. I'm saying we're going to get rid of exactly what I'm doing right now, which is treating people differently according to their race. Am I hearing you right?
Exactly right. And like I said, this is something that is incredibly wrong and something that, universities across the United States are preaching things like racism is wrong. Yet when they host workshops such as this one, they're only furthering the racial divide and signaling to people that your race does in fact matter when it comes to who you are as a human being. Are you a good and bad person? It's based off of your race, not how you treat other people. Are you privileged? It's based off of your race, not on, the community that you were raised in.
Right.
This is a very wrong type of statement to be making, especially by leading universities.
And they're not judging anybody by the content of their character. It's only by the skin color. Hey, I see your skin color. This class is for you because I'm going to teach you why you're bad and why your ancestors were bad. And that's just disgusting. It's Alyssa Rinelli. She is from the University of Minnesota and right now, though, in Wisconsin, and also from campusreform.org. One last story. College expels a student for racist, quote, racist social media post, then discovers what really happened. I don't know anything about this because, again, I can't get on Twitter. I haven't for a week and a half. But what did I miss?
Yeah, so Wesleyan College decided to expel a student for a quote racist post that she didn't even make. And it didn't come out until days later that she didn't make this statement. And to me, this is just showing the dangers of cancel culture here. The university saw this post. I don't know if it was sent in or how they found it, and decided to take extremely corrective action without doing the due diligence by themselves. And it was then up to the student to decide, like, hey, I didn't do anything racist. This is
Yeah.
wrong. And then the university reinstates her. This is not how universities should be dealing with these types of issues. It should be innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until you can prove your own innocence.
Yeah.
And I think that universities and colleges should be held to a higher standard where they do their own due diligence instead of just ruining what this girl's life is.
Do we know specifically what she allegedly said?
It was allegedly a post. It was like a Halloween costume
Yeah.
where she was a border patrol agent
Okay.
and someone else was a Mexican trying to hop the border.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly what the comment was, but it ended up not even being her in the image.
Wow. So somebody said it was her. She got all the ramifications, all the consequences, and it wasn't her whatsoever. And you're saying there was no investigation before they just said goodbye? You got to go?
I'm not sure if there was an investigation or not, but it seems like they didn't really do a very good job considering that they expelled this student and
Wow.
it wasn't even her.
That's stunning, but that's the day and age in which we live. Hopefully, people will start treating us like we're innocent until proven guilty again. Same thing, as I said, with Twitter. I'm a bad guy because I said hydroxychloroquine works, and then I actually posted studies that show it working. I was banned because of that or suspended, and I have to delete the tweet if I want to go back. And I'm not so sure I'm going to delete the tweet, to be honest with you. It is Alyssa Rinelli. Go and follow her now on Twitter. And she's a great follow, great young reporter over at campusreform.org. ALYSSA _ RINELLI, Alyssa Rinelli. Alyssa, let's do it again. I appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, Joe.
All right. We're back after this in the Joe Pag Show. Stay right here.
This is the Joe Pag